Today, we're looking into something quite special, actually.
Hmm.
It's the Watercolor Workshop for Beginners at the Institute of Islamic Art and Architecture. We have the descriptions for 10 lab courses.
10 courses. Okay.
Yeah, and our goal really is to pull out the key insights for you if you're keen on learning watercolor, particularly with that Islamic art focus.
That sounds fascinating. It's a great combination. What really jumps out from the structure?
Well, it seems really thoughtfully put together, a clear journey.
Right. From the absolute basics up to, well, creating your own thing.
Exactly, all wrapped in that Islamic art context. So let's talk foundations courses 1 to 3.
Okay.
It looks like they start quite sensibly with the tools, brushes, paper, paints.
Getting that tactile feel, yeah. There's an exercise mentioned.
Making a color chart and doing wash gradients seems very hands-on, essential for beginners, I'd imagine.
Absolutely essential. You have to understand how the paint and water work together on that specific paper.
Right. And then course 2 looks like it dives straight into water and pigment control.
The heart of watercolor, really. Balance, flow, getting that lovely transparency.
Flat washes, gradients, variegated ones too.
That's where you start seeing that watercolor luminosity, learning control.
And you can't paint without color. Course 3 is mixing.
The color wheel. Just primaries.
Just red, blue, and yellow, apparently, to make 12 colors. And understanding warm versus cool.
That's fundamental, especially, I think, for the kind of subtle palettes you often see in Islamic art.
Good point. So you've got the basics nailed down. Courses 4 and 5 start applying it.
Okay, so moving on. What's next?
Layering techniques. Wet on dry.
Glazing, too.
Building depth.
Yeah, they use a sunset sky example built in 3 layers. You can really picture how that adds richness.
Layering is definitely key in watercolor. And course 5, that sounds interesting.
It really does. It introduces Islamic geometric patterns.
Wow, okay. How do they approach that? Light pattern work, it says, with bold but translucent colors. A hexagonal star pattern is the example.
So it's that blend, the precision of geometry with the sort of fluidity of the watercolor.
Exactly. That seems like a really core idea here.
Fascinating.
And this is where you really see the techniques meeting this specific subject matter. So courses 6, 7, 8 broaden things out.
Right. What kind of subjects?
First, nature. Leaves, flowers, trees.
Right.
Focusing on like organic shapes, textures.
Makes sense. Moving from geometry to nature's forms.
There's an exercise painting a realistic leaf light, veins, shadows. A nice progression.
Definitely then.
Architecture. Course 7 tackles domes, arches, those iconic Islamic motifs.
Like a mosque window?
Exactly. Painting lattice work or stained glass. That brings in more structure, doesn't it?
It does, a different kind of detail. And course 8.
Calligraphy. Blending Arabic script with abstract watercolor backgrounds.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, imagine a soft wash behind elegant script. It really highlights how well the medium fits the art form.
It shows a real synergy, doesn't it, between the watercolor and these traditional Islamic arts.
Totally. Okay, nearing the end now. Courses 9 and 10 seem to be about developing personal vision.
Pulling it all together.
Course 9 is atmosphere and light, painting skies, reflections, creating a mood.
Capturing feeling, not just form.
The example is a desert evening sky with a silhouette minaret. Very evocative.
Yeah, that sounds powerful. Moving beyond just technique.
And then the grand finale, course 10, is the personal project, putting everything together.
Integrating all those skills.
Yeah, combining calligraphy, architecture, nature, whatever speaks to you, I guess.
A real culmination.
So looking back at this whole structure,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a really solid path.
It really does.
Starts with foundational techniques, applies them specifically to Islamic art themes,
Yeah.
geometry, architecture, calligraphy.
And then helps you develop your own way of seeing, capturing atmosphere.
For you, the listener, it lays out a clear route if you're interested in watercolor, and it adds that unique dimension of Islamic art.
Yeah, it's a very accessible progression from basic skills right up to quite complex compositions. It feels achievable.
Absolutely. And here's something to think about. Watercolor is fluid. It's transparent. How might those specific qualities, how might they perfectly lend themselves to expressing the spiritual, the geometric ideas often found in Islamic art?
That's a great question, that inherent connection between medium and message.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other art traditions might have that same kind of deep, inherent link with their chosen materials? Something to mull over.